Welcome everyone, my name is Paula Phillips and I'm doing an impromptu over on Ustream.tv during the day. Hopefully some of my UK friends can make it, uh, international friends that is. And we're going to talk about coloring. I'm going to show my, my coloring book collection, some of the pages I've colored, and then we're going to do some coloring. We're going to test out, I've got this mandala, um, hi Imelda, and I'm going to test out my Prismacolor Premiers, Prismacolor Scholar, Derwent Color Soft, Inktense, and Faber-Castell Polychromos. And I'm going to use the same colors for blending. I'm going to see if there's any difference. How much difference is there? I'm no expert. I'm just having fun and practicing. So you guys have seen this particular one. Now, where do I put this so I remember? Okay, I'm putting it to my right. Everybody remember. I'm putting it on my right. So the first thing, I'm going to show you my pencil and marker collection. I have it in this bag here, and we'll go from there. Um, the first book I want to show you is these color therapy, anti-stress coloring books, and there's all different ones. This one's calming. Uh, there's a color therapy and creative therapy. I'll show you this one. I'll just quickly flip through them. But I like this one because it has it's a really hard cover. So I've been using this. I want to use this as an art journal as well as a coloring book. And a lot of these pages already have some color on them. A lot of them are Zen doodle tangled. I don't want to mess up any copyrights. So what I'm trying to do, this is some deli paper, uh, crusty bit print off the jelly plate, and it's thin. So I just covered the whole. Linda, I need you to tell me that later when I want to use it. Tell me where it's on the right layer. Um, and then I'm trying to base the color, what I've colored on the colors that are, on whatever art I'm doing on the other side of the page. So I didn't take as much time with this one as I have with others. I just tried to be more quick. So the shading is, and it's fuzzy. We're going to go down in autofocus a little bit later. Uh, so I didn't take as much time. It showed these particular colors, but I didn't want to do purples and greens. But I did magenta and green. That was just a funny thing. Anyway, so those nice houses, more deli paper, quickly go through. I got this printed deli papers with Patty Tolly Parish stencils, and I just colored this particular one with markers, and I filled in the black background because this was the color of the background before, which is not bad. It matches this page that I'm going to art journal on later, but I don't even know how to shade this bad boy because it's so intricate and small that I don't know what to do. Um, but the Sharpie marker did come through. I don't know if you can see that, especially in this leaf. But anyways, I'm going to do art on this page because I really love this owl. And so you guys seen me do this live, and I try to bring elements. So the way that the artist doodled these feathers that are supposed to be hair, anyway, they're supposed to be fur. I did that over here. Hi, Anita. So this particular one, I know it's probably blurry because my autofocus isn't on. Excuse my nails. I need a craft scrubby. I couldn't get it off this morning. Um, I spent a lot of time on this lion to get. I love his eyes. I think I did a pretty good job shading his eyes, if I do say so myself. Yeah, it's your liger. This is I was showing before we recorded. That's what I'm working on now. I did this page live. Ooh, no, I didn't do this other page live. Just this one. Um, you need some splots. But I've been practicing. I colored the whole dang thing with markers, and then I went over with uh, my colored pencil crayon. So I did the face, and now I don't know where. I'm going to darken her lips. I have zero idea where to put the shadows. When you look, because this isn't a real face. It's like a doll, right? But I think I did a half decent job. There's a lot of layers on that bad boy. And it's also hard for me because I'm still learning. I don't even know what colors to use. I'm just guessing. But right here, this is the difference. And you can see here I shaded the belly. But this is polychromos, Faber-Castell polychromos, and this is just markered. So it's a huge, huge difference. Um, just got a little stencilage going on there because I'm going to work on this page and not on that page. Who doesn't love a pug drawing? Let me see. In the back here, I did this out, excuse me, from the Creative Haven Owl book. That was the first one I attempted to shade, and I really didn't know where on his belly. I didn't know if that was right or not. See how I have, maybe it makes him look like he has a big belly. Because I have shading here and shading underneath. And I don't know if that's right. I'm sure there's not really right and wrong. But, she's, oh, Eileen. Eileen says if she's old like me, put shadows under her eyes. Multiple bags. Um, Robin says, polychromos are more vibrant colors. Yeah, I got the pack of 24 set and we're going to test them today. But that was pretty vibrant. I definitely agree. I was pretty proud of the books that I did, but I don't know if that was the right way to shade inside the belly or the flowers. So anyways, I'm going to cover this all up. This is just some washi tape around the side and turn part of that into an art journal page. And I think that's all I've colored in this one, no? Same, oh, I lied. I've got this mandala. I don't think I'll shade it. Maybe this particular flower. Last night I was talking about the Stardust pens, jelly roll pens that are clear. And what's fun, this is over marker. What's fun is that it's just clear. It's just glitter. And the glitter doesn't transfer like, some markers. Well, let's see if it does. I did these ones last night. Oh, a little gleamage. It does. It comes off. Um, but what you can see the sparkle? Maybe? Sparklage? But you can still see the color, right? But then there's a little sparkle. So instead of shading, it's just got some fun sparkles instead. So I think that's all I've colored in here so far. Yeah. So quickly, let's see if I can stack these books without the creative therapy. These are the same thing, just a little bit different doodles, right? But again, I bought the other one because this is a real lion, I believe. I'm really enjoying, doing the art journaling as well as the coloring in these books. So you can see, uh, I have no idea, Eileen, what this is. What kind of animal is this guy? A female lion? Uh, no, I think it's more like maybe a puma. Yeah, I bought them on Amazon. I bought 6. I'm going to share them with my mom because my mom loves glitter. Loves glitter. So, any one of them is good, but maybe this one has different images that you may like more. I'm not sure, but they are different. There's not one repeat in this book, compared to the other one. And there's lots of different ones as well. So, um, in these back pages, you're supposed to do your own doodling in these. It was a lynx, you think? It's a panther? Here we go again. So it's a pinks. We could call it a pinks. Anyway, in the back, you're supposed to doodle, but I think I'll just color them normally. I'm not a big tangle doodle. You know what I mean, Fern. Look at this, Linda. A nice spidey web. But this is real thick pages, guys. That's why I like using them as art journals. I need to get quicker. I need to get quicker. I showed you this one the other day I got for $7.99. I had a winner from that stream. I have 4 packages packed up. Hopefully my mom can take me tomorrow. I usually finally got them packed up. I just have to send them. But so I don't know if it was the anyway, I got this for cheap at Indigo. And this is Kew Gardens Flowering and Plants coloring book. And the fun thing about this one, I won't flip because they're all kind of drawings like this. They're like what, scientific drawings? I don't forget what you call them. But what's fun about this one, it already has the shading for you. But it has the right next to it, the full color, image. So you don't have to guess what colors, especially if you're trying to practice shading some, real looking flowers versus some of the doodled ones, right? So I'm excited. I haven't done anything in this particular book because it still is a little intimidating. But I'm practicing, so I thought that it is good quality paper, not as thick as the other book, but that's a nice one. And it's also nice when you can get them in the clearance section. Showed this one last night. Doodlers Anonymous. Thank you, Dee Dee, for the uh, enabling. This one, my mom calls this one Weird Drawings. I had to get that weird coloring book because it's some pages have some strange things, right? Like it's just different, which is fun too. Botanical drawings. The other one was. Some of them probably would never color, but it's also inspiration for doodling. So it's eye candy to look at. I'm trying to go fast. I bought this one at Michael's, but I know they're cheaper. Obviously, you can't use coupons at Michael's on books, but I know this is cheaper on Amazon. It's called the Ultimate Coloring Book Treasury. It's by Design Originals, and Design Originals, they sell a lot at Michael's, and there's all different ones. So this is a compilation. Compilation? Yeah. This is for a bunch of their different books. So if you already have some Design Original coloring books, like there's a hippie one, there's a words one, well, you'll see. So they have some examples at the front of how they've colored them. I've shown this on stream before too, so I'll be real quick. These books have, well, it's got a nice quote on one side. This is Eleanor Roosevelt. Do not stop thinking of life as an adventure. There's perforations, so you can cut them out and use them in other applications like your art journal, give them away. But I love this one, Hummingbird. You inspire me. So again, it's a bunch of different, but it doesn't tell you which book. Dreams come true. It doesn't tell you which particular book, there's a mandala one for sure. But this has got, I mean, this is a variety of everything. If you didn't buy those other books separately, this was $24.99 at Michael's, but you definitely can get it cheaper on Amazon. Something good is going to happen. This is definitely one from the hippie one or hipster, one or the other. Anyways, Ultimate Coloring Book Treasury, and there's more than one of these bad boys. Of course, Anamorphia, another one Dee Dee enabled. And I've done a little bit of coloring in this bad boy. Some of the doodles, if you haven't seen this one before, can be a little intimidating. Hey, Jeannie? Yeah, it can be a little intimidating. And so let's see what I've colored in this bad boy. I like to jump around in my books, whatever kind of inspires me at the time, or what I feel like working on. I don't think I've done much. There's only one page, I think. Oh, here we go. I've showed this before. I've only started shading I think this is a Komodo dragon, which I should have looked up first. Hey, Z, which I should have looked up first because Komodo dragons aren't green. You can color the stuff anyone you want, and here I wrote down the colors of Prismacolor, the color names of the Prismacolor pencils I was using, so I can go back later and say, okay, I was using marine green, olive green, and lime peel to shade these, plus white and black, like Didi taught us. So I didn't know. I'll bring this up. First of all, this book has a little bit darker spots that can help you to know where the shading is, because that's what I'm trying to learn is, cast shadows and light, and direction and all that fun stuff. So I only did this bottom, this his jowls, I suppose. I started the eye, but that's only the like 2 layers maybe. um so I didn't know if I did this right, if it looks good. Uh, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I chose the right colors, but it's too late now. And then I was just coloring over here. Most of those is with marker, but I did color this little guy with colored pencil crayons. And if you're new here, I call them colored pencil crayons because in Canada we call them pencil crayons. In the US it's colored pencils. So I just combined the two. And I think that's it. I did paint the flamingos in craft paint. I was practicing again what Dee Dee showed us. And there's no blending on that bad boy yet. So that's it for the Anamorphia. You should see what my mom's done in Anamorphia. It's wonderful. My mom has colored way more than I have. Holy smokers, a lot. Um, this Enchanted Forest was the very first coloring I bought. Uh, Geez, whenever it first came out. It's a Johanna Basford one, and of course, so this is no, it says 2015. Yeah, oh yeah, because she had Secret Garden first, but I bought Enchanted Forest instead of Secret Garden. Now this is the very first thing I attempted to color, and you can see over here, not much blending happening. I was going too heavy on these particular ones. Too heavy. Although I did do marker first, you can see all these ones that are marker, and I didn't finish it. But I was going too heavy for sure. I'll see what else I colored in here. Started this bad boy again, not just marker, and I did hold the fort. There's a lot of coloring in this bad boy. Ignore this part, but I did color this dragonfly with only gel pens, and so some of them are shiny. So I was practicing that. Some of the Sakura gel pens, you gotta be careful. Those bad boys bleed. I mean, they die. They have to dry really well. Polychrome, yeah, luminescent. Well, I think I'm gonna buy the Pablos. Well, someday. The Carandash Pablos, because apparently what I've been reading is Pablos are the same as Luminous. They're cheaper because they're not as light fast. They're not as light fast as the Luminous. Now, because I'm not doing portraits or things that, it doesn't matter to me if it's not light fast because it's in my books, which are always closed. And the Pablos are really, they're still expensive, but um, you know, they're still cheaper than a luminous. So I colored this tree. I started with marker. Now here's a tip that I should have taken myself. If I'm gonna shade these bad boys with colored pencil crayons, there's no need to do them in marker first because they're so tiny. It's a waste of time because I'm going over with colored pencil crayon, uh, with that light green anyways. So, you know, something tiny like this, I should have just colored with all pencil. But I did start some of the blending over here, different leaves. I'm going to have them all different color leaves. And I don't know where to shade on this bad boy. So I'm going to have to look at some trees. So there is a lot of coloring in this bad boy. Look at this. At the back, it's like this. And then it opens for these two ginormous dragons. Now she has Johanna Basford. This is Enchanted Forest, but she has like what? Enchanted Ocean or something about oceans. Garden. I think she's coming out with a Christmas one I saw online. Uh, but this is the only one I have. And I'm not sure I'll buy any more of her particular books because they're very similar. Is that animal a tree? What animal? This is just a tree. There's no animal. All right. But if this is your style, you may want to get lost. I think it's Lost Ocean. You know, if that's what you like, by all means. But I'd rather have different ones. I'm trying to be fast, my friends. Creative Haven, lots of good ones in here. This is Creative Cats. So there's definitely some detail work. This is the same one as that owl I just showed. And so there's lots of coloring in some of these bad boys. Again, tiny, tiny details. But these Creative Haven books are only $8. Look at the steampunk kitty. Is the tree animal heads? Nope. Definitely not in Enchanted Forest. So lots of tiny, tiny. And you know, some of these details that are tiny, you wouldn't. Is that the Eiffel Tower in the background? Maybe it's the Space Needle. It's definitely not the CN Tower in Toronto. Anyway, let's quickly go. If you love cats, this is a good one. And like I was saying, these are such tiny details, you wouldn't even bother shading with them. You wouldn't even bother. I love this Queen of Hearts. This is Queen of Diamonds and a Queen of Hearts. Yeah, so I wouldn't even bother shading half of this stuff. I would probably just color them with colored pencil or a marker. These are one-sided pages. There's some ones you can cut out. I love, of course, the one with the pen, the ink, the typewriter. You need to drink more coffee, Eileen. That's for sure. And there's the artist one with all the tubes of paint. You see the tube of paint? No, excuse the shadow over here. Yeah, tiny, tiny. This one with all the travel stuff. Lots of tiny spaces in here, my friends. Creative Haven, Creative Cats. You can buy this one at Michael's, but again, you don't get a. This is a Zen Spirations by Joanne Fink. Again, Michael's has this one. Now, this one is good, you know, for people that don't want too intricate of things to color. Although, of course, some things are intricate, but there's a lot more open spaces, larger spaces to color in this particular book. Live by inspiring others to fly. I like that quote. Reflect the journey. And these ones would be cool as a tip-in into your art journal once you color them. Do what calls to your soul. And you can practice shading lettering. So I'm going to just go real quick. This is a fun one if you like those type of quotes. And I love her doodling, Joanne Fink's doodling. Believe in your dreams. I haven't colored anything in this bad boy. So again, this Design Originals one is $9.99 American. So you can probably get it for $8 on Amazon too. Yeah, Eileen, this is a nice book for you. I bought this Posh coloring book. Now don't judge me on how many coloring books I'm addicted. I'm addicted. But hey, I'm using them. And just called Inspirations Designed to Feed Your Soul. You can get it at Michael's. Cheaper on Amazon. So this is Posh coloring book. This is the pretty designs. There's more than one Posh coloring book, but I only liked the pretty designs. How did I add my journal pages in the first coloring book? Yeah, I used some tape on the deli paper to glue it into the book. But some of the other pages, I just gessoed over the bad boy or painted over them. I didn't glue anything down. I just used the backgrounds. I used the ones that I knew I wouldn't color. So this just has, and it's smaller. It's like a composition book. These would be perfect to use in your composition book. But there's all different type of things going on in here. From doodling to, more realistic paint. Well, more realistic than some of the doodles anyways. Some of them are super tiny. Some of them are larger. It's just a good If you like flowers in particular, there's a good mixture in this particular book. Um, Lots of tiny ones, some roses, but I like how they've mixed like doodled. I love this page. Um, some doodled and some more realistic, some mandalas and different things. I was just practicing over here with some markers, testing markers, but this one's $12.99 American, $14.99 US, so that's definitely cheaper on Amazon. Whew! I gotta be quicker. We'll be here all day looking at books. Some poppies. The blue Posh one. Yeah, there's different colors in the Posh coloring book. This is a Dover. It's old. It's but I still got it brand new. When I say it's old, it means it's published a long time ago, 1999. But I love Egyptian stuff, and almost every art journal I have, there's some type of Egyptian page. So I love this book. It's only one-sided as well. Um, I'm gonna cut some of these out and use them in art journals and such. But I'll just quickly go through this. I liked it because it's not cutesy. It's not made for like homeschooling. Some of the coloring books you find on Dover are for homeschooling, so they're more kiddish. So, well, I'm still journaling, Imelda. I'm combining the two. I'm still enjoying both. Nefertiti. Uh, I just love this book. Morning, Julie. Oh, I did get your Happy Mail, my friend. I'm gonna show on Wednesday. Thank you so much for the Japanese ephemera. And it's not even faux ephemera. It's real ephemera. So exciting. I'm gonna show it first thing on Saturday's show. So I really liked, and again, these design original ones, I think I might have paid $6 for this bad boy, which is, I think, I loved this book. Now, Dee Dee told me she gave it to Anita, and I know Anita's here. Anita, I want to see you color one of these pages. I haven't colored in it. I love. First of all, it's got splots. Who can't love a book that has splots? So right there, it's up my alley. So this one is called Inspired Coloring Travel, and these are like sketches or doodles that other people have done of different places. I just love this, and I think this will be very helpful for me to practice where some shading goes. And I'm going to look at some examples of some of these things. But just for, again, I say it again, just looking at doodles and people's sketches inspires me to sketch. So I really like this book. Anita's probably ignoring me. So I think it's exciting. And I know architecture and buildings, some people don't want to color or doesn't interest them, but it really interests me. So there's all different cities as well. I don't see Toronto in it. This is a fun New York Times Square one where they've made up their own posters. This says thriller movie, gun bullet, pistol, glasses, actor. Where do they come up with this stuff? Anyway, that's definitely New York. I just love that's San Francisco. I just love this book. I think there's some Asian in the back. Tuck tuck. So anyway, that's a fun book if that's the type of architecture you like to color. Whew! We're gonna get some coloring soon. Oh my gosh. I hope no one's counting how many I have. Is anyone counting? So this is in full bloom. Oh, anyway, this is also a Creative Haven book, which you can get for $8 or a little bit more, $9.99. Oh, $5.99 American. That's $8 Canadian. So Americans probably get these for $5. So in full bloom, Creative Haven. I like, again, this is a little bit more realistic looking flowers, and this book also tells you Of course, I can't pronounce the name. It's a Lenten rose, also known as hellebore. Oh my goodness. This is a lotus. So it does give you some hints about what you Kate says she can't count that high. Princess Buttercup is Michelle, right? Sorry if I forget the odd name. Um, she says there's a book called Color Your Own Stickers. So these are bigger flowers. This might be nice for you, Eileen. These are bigger flowers, right? This is a chrysanthemum that you can practice on. Well, I mean, some of them have smaller parts, but these are ginormous flowers. So in full bloom. I'm trying to be faster. Fairyland, another one that Dee Dee made me buy. And I did color one of these guys, but it's in the living room. I colored a fairy. So there's a bunch of different fairy books, a bunch of different ones. I like this book because it has thick, it has easier coloring and then these tiny intricate ones. But see, I probably use this girl and not the tiny intricate one. I'll just quickly flip through this. So there's lots of fairies. And dang it, I did one and it's in the living room that I would like to show you. So again, bigger ones and smaller ones. Oh, I tried to paint that one first. That was bad news. I've got to figure out how to water down my paint properly. So anyways, lots of fairies. There's the odd risque photo, but most of them are like stained glass type of thing. I am recording, Jeannie. Just add color. Fairyland. I bought a couple of these bad boys, and I think they're like $1.80 or something. I think I bought two, maybe three. This one's called Little Celtic Stained Glass Coloring Book. These are by Dover, and Little Mandalas Stained Glass. And what's fun about these, maybe we'll color one of these later, is they're actually vellum, printed on vellum. So we can color, let's see, it's a vibrant red maybe. And I've been using my old Stampin' Up markers that I've had since I was a demo back, oh my gosh, 2003 maybe. Anyway, and you don't have to worry too much about going over the lines. And obviously there's only shading we're going to do is maybe with markers. But won't these be fun to use in your art journal as tip-ins? I can't wait. Easy coloring in this bad boy. I won't do the whole thing. But imagine, oh, we could do a window in a page. Then it looks like that. Oh, that's exciting. Oh boy, I just got a big idea. Now years ago, oh, I can't show that book. I don't know where it is. Anyway, we can cut a window in our art journal. Know what I mean, Vern? Cut a window, put this bad boy in, and then you can see both pages. Hey, Carol, just for you, my friend, I'm streaming during the day. Just for you. But, oh, I can't wait to turn this into a window in my art journal. So, little mandalas, and I'm telling you, this book is $1.50 American, and I think it's $1.25 or something on Amazon. There's not a lot of pages, obviously. But these are stained glass ones are fun. And I know Dover sells bigger stained glass ones if you want to color a whole 8.5. Yeah, it would look wonderful as a front of a card. I think there's 8 in here. But hey, for $1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 8. And there's a Celtic one, and they have a bunch of different ones. But I really like the Celtic stained glass. Again, oh, this is going to be so fun in my art journal. I got ideas now. See how it's in, like, even a coloring book inspires you. Know what I mean, Vern? Like, they'll inspire you in different ways. Maybe and at the back it tells you what they are. A merman. One of them was a merman. Number 6. Oh, there he is, merman. Yeah. So yes, I have lots of coloring books, but they inspire me in different ways. in different ways. Oh, this is a nice one. Again, this is a Dover. Dover has put anything in my hand and I'm pointing with it. That drives me nuts. I gotta get out of that habit. Oh boy, I'm almost done, my friends, and we're gonna test out some color pencil crayons. So this particular book, again, made by Dover, this is the modern art. They have a ton of different art ones. Some of them just specific artists. But what I like about this, again, now maybe it's not the exact colors. At least you can go look at it online. It shows, then it shows that all the different people um, by page number, shows page number 1, right? So this will be fun coloring. And also, this book I think is used for homeschooling or education because, it talks about Willie Baumeister. Meister? Uh, so it talks about that particular artist, gives a little background of, his history. So, I really like this particular book. And again, all different artists. Kandinsky, Paul Klee. I thought this, yeah, Klimt. Oh, sorry. This is Klimt. It's on the back. It's not this. On the back. I was going to say, isn't that Klimt? His name's not Paul Klee. But the artist is on the back of the page. Um, so yeah, you can check out if the modern art isn't your style. Again, they have like Mondrian. They have all different artist ones over on Dover. Again, at the back, they show some of the colors of the original paintings. So I like this guy. And Dover coloring books, are this one is $5.99 American. $5.99, my friends. And if you go on Dover and you sign up for the Dover emails, is lots of times you get like coupons for 30% off coloring books and all. So check that out. Oh yeah, see, I bought a bigger one of the William Morris stained glass coloring book. So again, these are all those pages that are vellum, and these would be easy to color because you're just using markers. You might shade a little bit with the marker, but it's not, so it's going to be hard to show, but it's all stained glass artworks, all vellum. I think these are fun pages. So it talks about, again, guide to the plates, all the different ones. Like this particular one is peacock and dragon design for woven wool tapestry. So sometimes it's from tapestry, it looks like. Some of them are textile, some of them are wallpaper that they've turned into vellum. Judy has this book. Hey, Judy. Again, it's Dover. And I'm telling you, these bad boys this one's from 2000. So that's a few years ago. I really like this one. I haven't done any coloring, but I'm treasuring this one. I have all of these in my A store under coloring books. So, over on Amazon. But this is a nice one. Look at this. I love this one. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Um, Ecclesiastes, I can never pronounce that. Ecclesiastes 9:10. So some of them are religious, and there's some doodles, some mandalas. Uh, so if it's Christian, it's definitely a Christian book. Um, there's lots of Bible verses, right? And some pages are not. Look at this nice one. I'll love you forever. I need to color one of these ones and give it to my mom. Give them to my mom as a gift. But what's fun about this book is that at the back, so again, there's a lot of Bible verses in here. So if that's not your thing, This probably is not the book for you. But at the back, look at this peacock. Oh, isn't she gorgeous? At the back, I know Ange always Ecclesiastes. Now, are you saying that in your southern accent or Kentucky accent or Canasorian? How do you say that in Minnesota? Maybe Jeannie can tell us. Ecclesiastes. Okay, so back here, look, we got some cards, so you can color some cards. We got smaller cards to fold, like note cards. Again, these are all Bible verses. We can color some bookmarks all ready to cut out, and so some tangled bookmarks, some religious bookmarks, some gift tags to color. Look at these cute owls. Uh, More gift tags. I'll definitely have to use those for my mom's Christmas present. Some more gift tags. It's fun. I've never seen any of them at the back that has that. So uh, definitely check this one out if you're Christian. And oh boy, mandalas coloring for everyone. I bought this at Michael's. It wasn't expensive, not like some of the ones. I don't remember. $9.99 American, which I think was the same thing in Canadian. So this one has some examples of colors if you're stuck of all the different ones. These are perforated so that you can use them in your art journals. We're going to color one here in a couple minutes. I'm going to test out all the different color pencil crayons that I have. But these mandala, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I guess tomato, right? They're not, I mean, some are really detailed, but a lot of them have a lot of open spaces. So that's a nicer book if you like mandalas. At the back, they have use these bars to test your coloring medium and palette. That's cool. I like these color charts. I might have to photocopy them for my own use. For my own use. So again, that's mandalas coloring for everyone. I'm almost done. Oh crap. Naturescapes, you guys have seen this one before. I haven't done any coloring in it. This is a Creative Haven book. Got lots of animals. Dee Dee did an amazing art journal page with these giraffes. Made me buy this book. Hey, Allie. But I haven't done anything in this particular one. Naturescapes, Creative Haven. Again, you can get these. Creative Havens are also made by Dover. This one's $5.99 American. So, and that's before like an Amazon. And again, I bought the kimono designs. All Dee's fault again. I love Asian. Ever since I read Memoirs of a Geisha, I love that stuff. I really, really enjoyed that book. There's lots of finely detailed coloring in these bad boys. That's for sure. So I have more than a lifetime of books to color. Don't, you know, don't judge. Don't judge. Anybody been counting? Secret Paris, one of the first ones I got. Now, Dee Dee blames me for her and Darcy and everybody buying it, but I blame Simon. Simon bought me this as a gift. Just showed up one day. And so it's called Secret Paris. I also have Secret New York, if that interests you more. Secret Tokyo, and that type of thing. So this particular book, there's a lot of coloring in these bad boys. So they colored a tube of hand cream. And I'm jumping around in this book too because, you know, I colored a baking dish. I'm not sure if I got the shadows right in that bad boy either, but you know, I'm practicing. This is one of the ones I first started practicing on. As you can tell, it's not as blended. I was still going too hard with my pencil. I did this nice little bottle. I got the highlight there, which I was quite proud to be able to shade from dark and then leave that area white. And so let's just see what else. I love all these. There's lots of designs too, as well as different sketches. I'm working on this particular coffee pot. Down here, again, this is when I first started shading. You can see how dark it is around the stem. because I was too heavy-handed. What else did I? This is the last one, my friends. So I was trying to do some ice cream and an ice cream Sheboygan. I wonder if I was there for a club scrap retreat. It sounds familiar. I was also in Minnesota, and that's why I can't shake the accent for some reason. I was in Germantown for 4 or 5 months, practicing on my little things over here. Some of them are just base colored with marker or whatnot, and I'm still working on some of these. Well, I started coloring the cabbage, and then I decided as I started coloring it, because the dark is marker paint, I think. I started coloring it, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna look at a cabbage online as an example. And then I realized, see, I was coloring it darker in the middle. Well, cabbage's leaves are darker on the edges and white in the middle. So I screwed that bad boy up. Um, so I'm having fun with this book. So the very first thing that I practiced on was this page. And I left some of the ones where I first started up here. So I just gave up on the yellow. I was starting to do the yellow in the background, but it was not enough contrast, so I left it white. Um, so up here is when I first started coloring them. You can see the lines, and then if you go down here, it's much more blended. So I was really this took me hours and hours to do because I was really practicing shading and trying to get it seamless. I'm telling you, I was using I think 4 different colors on this bad boy, not including black and white. And some of these ones don't have black, and some of these ones I used as black for a little bit of shading. So I was practicing all different things. I think that's all I colored. I'm not sure what these bad boys are at the back, but I really want to cut them out and make a little book. I don't know if I'd ever color it, but a book would be cool. Like to put it, I love books within books, and things that are in books and letters. You know what I mean, Vern? That would be fun to put in an art journal. Oh, well, this isn't a really coloring book, but I've showed you this one before. The pencil playbook, 44 exercises for mesmerizing, marking, and making magical art with your pencil. This is by Anamorphia. I put this in the coloring book section in my Amazon A store. We're almost done, guys. We're done. So, like this one is draw your initial. And so there's an example, there's the exercise, and you're supposed to do it on that particular page. Um, you know, color your maps, leaves, buildings, new mandala. So this is a kind of fun book if you want to practice different ways to use your colored pencil, not just for shading. I like this well, it's not really cross-hatching, I suppose. What do you call this? When Carrie and I were driving to Baltimore, for the first time I saw Amish people and driving their horse and buggy. It was an experience for sure. Talks about blending. Anyways, it's just a fun, if you like those type of books that have exercises. And I think they have different ones. Like I think they have like a drawing one. But um anyways, that's a nice one. Okay. Whew. Whew. Now, and this is again thanks to Dee Dee. Years ago, she showed us that now she's changed it all. Because she put all of her pencils and stuff. Now she's got other different things. But I still really like the idea. This is what I keep by the couch. I don't know what the dogs are barking at. Sorry. This is what I keep by the couch. It has all my Zig and Stampin' Up markers, which I think were made by Zig, in my opinion. So I have all of those here. I have all my Prismas, well, this particular set, in this middle one, as well as the Derwent Color Soft, another thing of Derwent Color Soft, and these old Stampin' Up woodless ones. I also have my water brushes, some tiny brushes if I want to use paint. Over here, Crayola Super Tips, Dollarama markers, some old Adirondack markers, Adirondack um, by Ranger. Here's my water salt. Well, we got Prismacolor Scholars, and we're gonna test all these out here right now. Compare Prismacolor Scholars to Prisma Premier and all that fun stuff. Derwent Inktense. These are Derwent Metallic. I've got all these swatched too. Stampin' Up watercolor pencils. I don't know if they still make them. I don't know if they are like this. Again, I bought them a long time ago, and but they're very vibrant. When I swatch these bad boys, they are very vibrant. I think my swatch book's in the living room because I do almost all my coloring and swatching, not almost, all my coloring and swatching on the couch. Is this the right book? Oh yeah, I'll show you my other swatch book here. In Derwent Graphitints. So I don't have my Luminous. I need another bag. I need to separate my bag now from pencils and markers. Of course, this isn't all my markers. These are just the ones that I use for my coloring books. But real quick, I swatch everything. Some core, the Cotman travel set. These are the Stampin' Up watercolor. They are really bright. So Derwent Graphitint, which is kind of graphite with a little bit of color. The metallic, these are metallic watercolors. They have a little sheen. These are all the Inktense pencils. This is the 72 set, so I've got hiccups. Derwent Art Bars. Inktense blocks. I don't have the full set. I think I have the 24 set of the blocks. Koi watercolors. Some Neocolor 2s. I originally bought a 30 set of Neocolor 2s, and then I've been buying them singly when I can. Dr. Martin's Synchromatic Transparent Watercolor, and that's it. So I tried to swatch my watercolors in this bad boy, and water-soluble stuff, and so let's bring this down. Robin loves Graphitint for pen and ink drawings. That's a good idea. So let's see how close we can get. I gotta move it this way. And I'm gonna focus it. So let's see. Let's autofocus. I'm gonna get out of the way. I guess that is. I don't know how clear that is for you guys. Clear? Unclear. Clear? Unclear. So one thing I was learning about like Inktense and one of these, so I said earlier we're gonna test out Polychromos, you know, all the different brands that I have in these bigger squares. I'm not gonna use marker first, so it may take a while. If I get some coffee, relax. But with Inktense, you know how I was trying to use it. Where's my Inktense? How I was, and I didn't take them out because I have no room in my pencil case. See, I need a new one. But actually, the good thing is that they're pretty cheap at Michael's, especially if you use the big pencil tote. It's not made for pencils. I think it's made for scrapbooking tools. Anyways, let me find a red. Let me find a piece of something else. Oh, I'll just use my... Did anyone say if it was clear? Bye, Zandra. So what I was trying to do, right? Let's see if I can get a pen first. And this may bleed. This may bleed. So what I was trying to do is go real hard. This is how I was using it. Because I didn't know what the heck to do. I got a water brush here. And I was trying to go like this. You know, you could probably see it in my swatch book. And I'm like, that's not working so well. My water brush isn't primed. I'm like, what the devil? That's not working so well. But then I figured out that, where's that pen again? I figured out that what you're supposed to do is use them just like your regular pencils. And this isn't sharp. Hold on, I gotta bust out my new electric toy. See how sharp it goes? Oh, it's amazing. Anyways, you color the same way as you would. I should be doing circles, right? Again, I'm no expert. I'm just showing you how I do it. And hopefully, by showing you how I practice and, because I'm not an expert, it'd be less intimidating. So if I want it darker up here, then I go over with another color. And I know there's other ways, right? I know you can take a brush to the tip and all that type of stuff. You can color on something else. So here I have the Blendy Blend. Hey, Marion. Let's go back to my water brush. Don't have to have a water brush. Hey, Lynn. Oh, wrong one. So see the difference? And then you can pull it down a little bit. And this book is not meant for watercoloring. Don't get me wrong. Not meant for watercolor. And then, maybe you want it to dry, but you can go back in. You can I'll dip my pencil in water and you can go back in and make it darker. So the blending isn't coming from such a harsh line, which was I was trying to pull it, right? That's not the way I suppose you're supposed to use. You can use them anyway, but that's where I was having trouble. I'm like, it's not blending, it's not moving. It's because I'm trying to put a harsh line and blend it out rather than doing a little, uh, you know, grade there. Um, I'm like, where did I put my Inktense? It's right here. Hi, Cindy. So I did swatch my Inktense in a freestyle notebook, and can you tell I watched Dee Dee lots? Although I did look at this before Dee Dee had it, and I thought that's too much for shipping, but then once she showed it, that was it. So these are my polychromos, and I showed this before we started recording. These are Prismacolor Scholars. Is that really blurry, my friends? Yeah, that's right, Jess. You have to let it dry, then it won't look like mud. Just like regular watercolors, right? You're supposed to, regular watercolor media, you're supposed to let it dry in the middle. So these are all the Derwent Inktense. And then I use this book while I'm on the couch, while I'm coloring, to, to see if I get the right, these are my Prismacolor premieres, but I'm not done the swatches. I did all the swatches in my very big sketchbook, but I wanted to do it in this one as well. Some of the markers, the Zig and markers, Derwent Color Soft. So we're going to test all those. That's why I need to have this out. Well, Inktense, we won't do that first. So I want to take these bad boys out of the tin. I just need to get a new pencil case first. And this tin doesn't stay on very well. And I'm worried they're just going to fall all over the place. Uh-oh. Hold the fort. I got a big elastic, but no, it's not easy to get on sometimes. Okay, so maybe I'll start with the polychromos because they're right here. And so I'm trying to think of a good color. I think what's good for the camera. Before, when I tried this, did anyone say if this looked really, and excuse I couldn't get the black gesso from under my hands. And look, it's still stained. I need a craft scrubby. Is this clear or not? So maybe blues? If I shade blues, what do you think? I think with all the sets, some of my blues are out. Oh no, they're all right here. If I'm using certain pencils, right? If I'm coloring something and I don't finish, like that tree in Enchanted Forest, I've kept the greens that I've been using in here. And I keep post-it notes so I can write down, and I've got some sharpeners that I maybe use on the couch. So these are colors that are kind of in process. Still, nobody's telling me if it's clear. Oh, Ange says it's clear. Okay. Anyone decide? Anybody? These ones, they feel thicker than the Prismacolor Premier, but I think it's just a mental thing. It's just a mental blockage. And we can try with blue. What do we got in here? And these have like real names. So Helio Blue Reddish. Helio Blue. Oh, let's look at the swatches. I'm a little blurry. I don't know if I can fix it. Let's see if I maybe focus. That's as good as we're gonna get, I think. I wonder why. What would happen? Oh, that's bad news. Even worse. That's as good as we're gonna get, my friends. I'll leave it on autofocus, see what happens for a second. See if it starts shifting. Okay, polychromos. Again, I'm not an expert. We're just practicing. So if we want to do blues, we got Helio Blue Reddish, Ultramarine, Light Ultramarine, and Phthalo Blue. So if I'm gonna try to use 3 colors in white and black. So we definitely have to use the light ultramarine blue. Maybe the phthalo and ultramarine, I think. And then later we're going to I'm gonna take notes on here and everything. I just got the 24 set of the Faber-Castell. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. I'm not gonna worry about lighting and whether it's clear or not. I don't know. Okay, put this off to the side for later. Again, I'm no expert. But again, I wanted to show you how, if you're not an expert, oh, I need the black and white in this one. If you're not an expert, you can try too. Right? Lots of times we watch people color that are just amazing. Black and white. Okay. And like I said, everything I've learned is from Dee or some of I got quite a few color pencil books. Okay, so let me write what we got going on first. So these are polychromos. And we're going to use phthalo or phthalo blue. Light ultramarine. And again, I want to do this for my own, research, my own practice. And helio blue, reddish. Boy, even now, doing it live, I'm a little, I better take a drink of coffee. I'm a little nervous. Are you coloring at the coffee shop? Are you coloring? So I'm a little nervous. But I do know you're supposed to start with the light. So it's going to be hard to read the chat while I do this. That's for sure. And we'll see how far we go. Look at that shadow. Bad news. So I just go lightly and do my little circly things. I learned that from a video. The artist, if you go to YouTube and you see the Artist Network, it's called, which is by FW Media, used to be Northlight. They have previews of people's DVDs and books, and I'm telling you, there's so much information on that bad boy, on those videos. You know, you can watch and learn so much about everything: acrylic, oil paintings, sketching, watercolors, color pencils. They're shorter videos, right? It's only like a 10-minute 10-minute uh, preview of the DVD or book. So I'm just going to go light. Put it in caps, guys, if you're talking to me. I know everybody kind of talks about a ton of different things. I'm going to go all the way up here, I suppose. So I am getting a little line, some little lines, but when I say little lines, let's see if we can show close, if it's gonna focus. It's gonna focus on my dirty fingernails. That's what it's gonna focus on. Rats! I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to the next color. Same thing. And maybe I'm probably doing this slower than maybe I would do on the couch because I'm nervous. Because I'm doing it online live. Hey, if I can do this online live, you can do it at home in the privacy of your own home, right? And sometimes I don't always do the circle thing, but got to practice what stroke works best for you. And so, I was watching some videos. Oh, see, that's too hard of a line. I was watching some videos where they flick, especially on certain type of flowers, right? They're going like this to get the grain. Grain's not the right word. The definition maybe of the petals. So we're gonna practice now. This is only the second time I used polychromos, to be honest. I just got them last week maybe. And maybe I should have done some marker because this is gonna take forever. This is gonna take forever. I'm gonna go to the darker one. But now that I started this test, I have to do them all the same way. Know what I mean, Vern? And I don't know what the rule is. People have told me that you go light to dark, but to be honest, I go back and forth. If I'm doing it on my own, I add layers of the light and then I go back in with the dark. I don't know what the proper way is, but I won't know what the proper way is until I start practicing it myself, right? So this is the darkest blue I have because my set, 24 set, I'm a little bit limited compared to the quite a few colors I have. Um, Everybody's talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. Not talking to me or talking about coloring. But that's okay. But, I'm trying to go over it. That's why it's taken me a long time, right? I expect as I get better, it's not going to take me as long to color some of this stuff. Now, Dee Dee taught us to use a little bit of black for some shading, so I'm going to use black at the edge. I suppose, obviously, I'm going from dark to light. Sorry, it's still blurry. Is it going? I'm going to ask I know there's a lag. Is it going in and out? Is my focus going Is the autofocus doing something crazy? That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I forget. I just do this type of line, right? Straight up and down rather than my tiny circles. Because, boy, a lot of us used color pencil crayons since we were kids, right? And that's how I colored before. So again, I can go like this. So let's go back in with my lightest color and pull it out a little bit. See, look, I'm going like this, but I'm practicing. They feel a little bit harder than Prismas. And again, I'm no expert. I've colored a couple, you know, I've taken, although I've spent I don't know how many hours doing this stuff. Oh no, that makes sense, Carol. Carol says she was taught to color over the lightest shade, then do halfway up with the next shade, the mid color, and then from the bottom third do darker. And I didn't go with my lightest shade. I don't even think I went all the way up to the end of the. And now that I do that, this looks more purple. This one is light ultramarine, starting to look a little purple. Yeah, I didn't go light all the way to the top. That's for sure. All right, back down here. And I'm using the same pressure throughout the whole coloring process. Um, try my black ink pad, Jeannie. I don't know what's going on with my focus. Driving me better. One better. I try to. I try to, Sandra, go in circles, but sometimes, like I said, sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget, and I'm starting to do this. But you know, and sometimes I do the flicking, especially if I'm doing some kind of flower like this. I'm just going once. I'm flicking like this. I'm not going back and forth. I'm just flicking one time. Yeah. I was watching a video, Carol, I agree, that was doing on flowers just the flicking technique. Flicking, flocking. You know what I mean, Bern. Go back to the darkest color in here. I'm going to go back to my circles. The flicking, you definitely have to practice that. I don't have the fine motor skills for that yet. So, polychromos. Is someone timing how long it's taken me to do this? And maybe I use too much black because I can still see it. I'm tempted to go in with a purple, but I'm trying only to use 3 colors. And look, I'm bringing the darkest shade up. I don't know if that's right or not, but heck, I'm doing it anyways. That's one thing for me because I wasn't, formally, I didn't take an art class past grade 8. For my art credit in high school, I took ceramics because I thought to be an artist, you had to be able to draw. And like everybody says, I couldn't draw a straight line with a ruler. So I thought, oh boy, I can't take art class. And I didn't. I took, um, like I said, ceramics instead. So by not being trained or went to any class, um, sometimes not knowing the right way to do it is beneficial to me because now you know I'm not afraid to try something unconventional, I suppose, because I don't know what's unconventional. that that's not the proper way to use it. All right, light touch up here. I don't know if this is boring to you. I can sit there and watch Dee Dee color all day, my friends, all day. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm trying to practice not doing any. I'm trying to practice blending with pencil only. I want to master that because I think, um, I assume, again, I'm just assuming. I'm not saying there's anything bad, but I'm trying to practice and master the blending with only pencil, and then maybe I'll try some. Maybe then I'll try some other blendings. I do have like the Prismacolor. I bought the set. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about is the Prismacolor Scholar Black Eraser. Back to the darkest. See, I just go back and forth. Is it, how's my focus? Is it focusing? Do I have to embrace the ink pad? Is it going in and out? I try not to worry about that stuff, but So maybe I put too much black because it's pretty dark at the bottom. Now, maybe one of the experts in chat can tell me. I thought I read somewhere that polychromos is a combination of wax and oil-based. Is that true? You never know what you can trust, what you read online. I mean, obviously not as oil-based as the Luminesce. So I'm going to take my white now and try to blend that. I think if I had even lighter blue, I would probably use a lighter blue to blend it out, but I don't. So I'm just going to use some white. And I don't know, I've been reading in books about burnishing. I'm not sure if what I'm doing is actually burnishing or not. If this is considered burnishing. So then I just take the white and try to move it around so that that's what I'm practicing, that my lines are seamless. Now does it feel like it's blending? A little bit. Now I'm going to practice my other ones and show you some of the difference, but I can see more lines maybe than my Prismas, but maybe that's because I didn't do enough rounded. And again, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but even after the white, I go back in with whatever color I need. Because I think that black, they're definitely, and I'll, once I use the Prismas here in a minute, they feel rougher. I don't know if that's the right word. Scratchier? Now I'm just making up words over here. Well, that's normal. Back in with the light. So much for going in circles, eh, my friends? Try. Sometimes I forget. I mean, that's what all about practice. And I try to think about it like I do fitness, right? Um, when you have muscle memory, right? In the fitness world, I'm trying to think of it, parallel it to that. So I have to build up my fine motor skills and muscle memory of this stuff, right? And all I can do for that is practice. Well, for the few things that you've seen me color, I kid you not, I've probably spent 60 hours or more practice. How long have I been coloring this one? Oh boy. Polychromos, Linda says, polychromos artist pencils are valued internationally by professionals and semi-professionals for their unsurpassed quality. The high quality standards of the polychromos colored pencils shine through, whether they are used for graphics, artistic freestyle, or the exact rendition of plans. High quality pigments of unsurpassed light fastness and brilliance, smudge proof and water resistant, thick oil pastel lead, soft color stroke break resistance due to the SV bonding polychromos. Whew! Providing many hues of gray in the packaging. So they are part oil based compared to the wax. All right. so far, I'm going to try not to blend. I would go back in and blend more because I put too much black on there. So, but it's shiny. See how shiny it is? I'm not sure if you can even layer any more of that. Who's asking about Vern? If you're new to my show, Vern is a character from the Ernest movies, like Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Camp. These are comedy movies from what, the 80s? And so I might go in there with purple. See, if I was doing this myself, I might go in there with a purple or something at the bottom to try to. And look, you can just go on for hours. Yeah. So I don't know once you see that shine if that's too much or not. Know what I mean, Vern? Okay, we're going to stop that one. This is the polychromos. Oh boy. All I want to do is keep going darker blue in here. So in my little colors that I'm using here, I have the Prismacolor Scholar. Robin says you can do many layers of polychromos because there is no wax bloom. Well, they're good. Prismacolors are gonna shine. They're gonna shine no matter what. Okay, so look at this little Prismacolor Scholar. It's cheap. It's like $1, maybe less. It's got 4 points, but you're never going to remove, all of the pencils. But it's pretty good. Look at that. Oop. Sorry for the blurrage. Why is my camera not focusing? Anyways, I think it erases pretty well. And it does have a nice fine point. So, for example, I went over the line. Oh no, I went over the line there. And because it's a point, I can go right up into that. Oh, I erased some of the blue by accident. So it's still going to be there, but it's a lot lighter. Yeah, you can just go over and over. But that's the thing, you got to practice. I have to practice how much pressure to use, how many layers can I do, that type of thing. All right, we got one down. Let's put these bad boys back. Again, I'm going to take these out of their tin just as soon as I get another bag. Good thing they're cheap at Michael's. Not these. Storage bags. Okay, so let's go back to the swatches. Let's do some Derwent next. Derwent Color Soft. So, where's my... This is kind of what I do. I'll go to the polychromo. That's Prisma Scholar. I'll go to the polychromo. So we know, and that's why I wrote this down. We know we'd used phthalo blue. So the closest to phthalo blue looks like electric blue. There's not many blues. I only have 36 in the Color Soft. So I'm going to use electric blue, light ultramarine, electric blue. Wow, even the light, cloud blue. I might have to use 2 different colors. Pale blue, phthalo blue. So I'm going to use indigo, electric blue, and pale blue. It's the closest I can do. So I get out my Color Softs here. That's purple. Obviously I don't have these bad boys separated by color. Did I say cloud blue? No, blue, electric blue, and indigo, I think I said. I wish I had a lighter blue, like but we don't. All right, electric Because when I test something, I want to test. Whoa! Throwing the pencils everywhere. That's black. I need the black. And the white. I'm still looking for my indigo. And they have, Derwent has, you know, the little, they're not true to color though, right? This looks like black, but it's dark brown. My indigo should be in this one then. Persian gray, steel gray, indigo. All right. Keep these there for now. Put my swatches back over here. And I put it in that ginormous book because, so these are Derwent. Because I know I'll have that book for a long time. You know what I mean? The ink pad did help focus. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Where can I put it? I'm so zoomed in. So, Derwent, Color Soft. And I said we're going to use indigo, electric blue, black, white. I'm not going to write those, and pale blue. Now the colors aren't going to be exactly the same. You know, we got to use what we have, right? I'm so zoomed in. I don't know. I'll put my ink pad there. So I don't. Yeah. Dee said Derwent artist pencils. Do they have a different, different brand and color soft? Lynn did the color swatches. Wonderful. I don't know what you're talking about, Judy. Sweet goodness, what's going on in there? Okay. Lightest blue. I think I need to get out my favorite electric toy. This is an X-Acto pencil sharpener. Uh-oh. Went too far on that bad boy. So these ones are, they must be a little bit thicker than Prismacolors, because it's not stopping as nice as the Prismacolor does. All right, in with the blue. This is the lightest shade. Is this boring because it's taking me so long to color this? Like I said, I can watch it all day, but that doesn't mean anybody else is interested. So far there's more like bits coming off this color soft. Gotta remember to flip my pencil. See how it's dark there? Because I didn't rotate my pencil enough. I didn't flip it, so then I get a harsh line because it's more, because I'm using the same pressure. So I just have to remember that when I turn my pencil, I have to have an even lighter touch. How long have I been streaming anyways? Hey, Sarah? Curling. What's today? Thursday. All right. So a layer of, and again, I wish there was a little bit lighter blue in the color soft, but this is the 36. I believe they come in 72. Maybe they come in a little bit, by Genie. Um, but anyways, you gotta work with what you have. I'm making a hot, now these are definitely scratchier, or maybe it's this color. I did read online when I was doing, because I do lots of research, that some colors are scratchier than others. And I don't know if that's because of the pigments they use in a particular color, or, more of the quality control type issue. All right. Even though I got some darker tones up there, now we'll go into the mid tone. And I am going to put black on the bottom here just because I want to make sure they're definitely scratchier for both. Just because I've been using Prismacolor Premier. Thanks everyone. This already feel a little bit scratchier, but that doesn't mean they're not good. They just feel different. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I don't see too much of a difference in these two particular colors. I'm just going back and forth. Again, I don't know if this is the right way. I'm not even sure there is a right way. But this is just how I've been practicing. And you know, if I had a big piece like this, and if I was using my coloring book, I probably would have that base coat of light marker. So because then if you have the marker, you don't have to do so many layers. You know what I mean, Vern? I have to put so many layers of the color pencil crayon for it to look as vibrant as if there was marker down there first. Alright, a little bit of dark. That's black. Well, no wonder. Electric blue. Oh man, did I do it in the wrong order? Or was I using the same color for both the... I thought I switched color, but I didn't. Electric, oh no, this was the lighter's color. I lied. Because I sharpened this bad boy. Okay, let's go to the indigo. I lied. Yeah, I know it's indigo. But for a second, I thought maybe it was ultramarine. So trying to remember to do the circle-y things. It looks like I'm getting some wax build up. And again, I don't know what Color Soft, maybe it was Color Soft that was a mixture of oil and wax. Over and over. To test how I probably will as well, for sure, Cindy. Cindy asked if, because I normally use marker as a base, would I should test that. Oh, and I will. I test all conditions because that's the Six Sigma in me. That's the manufacturing, putting, you know, changing the variables. I'm all about that because there's so many variables. But yeah, I definitely gonna go over. So I got already some buildup going on here rather than at the bottom. I'm not sure what's happening there. Strange. I don't, unless I was just focusing on that area while I was talking. And let me tell you, if you take a picture of your page, you definitely see all the mistakes you made. Mistakes isn't the right word. All the spots you missed. Look at that. That's strange. But we can go back in with the lightest color, maybe some white in a bit, and see if we can move that out. I don't know why that happened. I must have done... I mean, I must have been too heavy-handed there, right? Let's see if what happens if I remove a little bit with the eraser. There, that helped a little bit. Oh, forgot to do the circles again. I didn't leave as much white up at the tip as I did the other side. Let's go back in with the indigo, the dark. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in with the black now, like I did on this one, just to practice. So, like, exactly, Judy. Dee Dee showed us to use acrylic craft paint underneath before going over with your colored pencil crayons. But, boy, after you've been using markers, it's a whole other learning process, for me anyways, to go over with to go over paint because it grabs so much of the pencil. So I'm like, whoa, this is different. Well, maybe you have to just do more layers, but um, definitely don't blend as nice as the polychromos, I'll tell you that. Just, Cindy, just craft paint. And I want to do one of those swatches, how they look over the different media that I have. I'm all about the swatches, testing how things work. That dark spot really bothers me. It's, I don't even know what happened because I don't get that with the other ones. I might get a line from where I'm turning my pencil, but then I can blend that out, but that doesn't seem to be blending out. Maybe when we put some white on it, maybe it'll blend more. Go in with the lighter. So it takes a long time. If you want to blend out like this, it definitely takes a long time for me. Maybe if, like I say, the more I practice, the shorter. Oh my goodness, did you hear my stomach growl? See, look, I got another one right there. And let me tell you, I'm not pressing hard at all. So I don't know why it gets built up every once in a while. That, I'll go back one more time with the lightest color up here. Then I'll go over it with the white and see what happens. So far, they definitely, and I know some people swear by them. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own favorite brand. But I'm definitely having trouble with these. Let's see if burnish, is this burnishing? Maybe it is. Blending with the white, maybe that'll help blend it out. But maybe some pencils, see, that did blend it out a little bit right there. Um, maybe this would definitely work better with some type of, Gamasol, mineral spirits, blender. Blender thingy-me-do. Blender pencil, blender markers. I'm going to go back over it with the lightest blue. But sometimes you have to have patience, though. You have to have a lot of, exactly, Cindy. I just looked up. Yeah, maybe these pencils were meant to use with a solvent. Oh yeah, color pencil takes a long time. Like I said, I've spent oh, 60 plus hours on some of those things. Those leaves I showed you in the Secret Paris, that first thing I attempted to shade, that took me, 20 hours. Over 20 hours. I mean, I didn't sit there for 20 hours, but I timed it. I accumulated the time. Oh boy. So, like I said, I could spend a long time going over layers with both of these, but definitely not as blendy as the polychromos. You can see more of my strokes. Yeah, paint thinner. But like I said, I'm training my hand first to blend with only pencil, and then maybe I'll see what the difference is using, gosh, I think some people use undo. There's lots of different things to blend. Go back in with the dark. So when I use the black with Prismacolor Premier, it really blends into it. I don't see like a harsh black line. But I just go back and forth between colors. I don't know if that's the right way. Vaseline. Dee Dee said that. That's craziness. Vaseline. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not crazy. It's just strange to me. But I guess it's petroleum, right? I only use Vaseline on my lips, actually. The only type of chapstick or what I use on my lips. All right, that's as best as I can do right now. I probably put in as much work in it, going to the lightest color. I probably put as much work into it as this one, wouldn't you say? I haven't timed it. I don't even know how long I've been online. It makes the colors pop. Well, if you do enough layers, if you do enough layers, you can make it pop, right? Now my camera's not going to do that justice. And I try to blend it all where there's very little segregate. Like, I wanted it to blend all the way out. Like I said, I think I used 4 different colors of pencils there. You can get just as vibrant with only pencil. It's just going to take you a lot longer. Know what I mean, Vern? But man, I can make a day out of this. Look, I said I was done, and look what I'm doing. More and more. Especially when I look up at the screen. It's really not blended in this particular area. Oh, Dee Dee, all I've done is talk about you the entire stream, my friend. I'm testing out the brands that I have. This is Derwent Color Soft, and so far, it's definitely not as good as the Polychromos. Definitely not. I'm having a lot more work to blend it. A lot more work. This is the lightest color again, trying to blend out some of those darks. Every time I look up at the screen, I see all the imperfections. So, okay, I'm going to give it up. Thanks, Cindy. Okay, probably not going to be. Where are we here? Can you tell? Now, up here, I didn't leave enough white tip there. But look at the smoothness difference between polychromos, and they're both a little, let's see if I can get the shine. They're both going to be shiny. And I really did try, I mean, the colors were not exact, but I really did try to do the same. But look at how I've got all these stroke lines in this particular one. Yeah, Derwent artist brand. I didn't even know Derwent, to be honest, Dee Dee, that Derwent had an artist brand. I just thought the Color Soft was their highest one. Like, doesn't Derwent have an even, like a student even lower than color soft. That's not the right word. Pigment quality or whatnot. Yeah. Spent the whole day coloring. Anytime, so I've got a new rule for myself. Anytime I'm watching streams, I'm either coloring, I'm doing something in my art room or on the couch. That's why you guys see me a lot on my tablet instead of my laptop, because I'm coloring at the same time. And it's easier for me to have to look at my tablet than my laptop. All right. So next, let's do the Prismacolor Scholars. These are my blues and greens. So let me show you on a Prismacolor. I don't know if we'll be able to see this. So this is aquamarine. I think there's an aquamarine in here. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So look at the difference. Oh, sorry, my camera's so close and this probably not going to focus. This lead is definitely thinner than this one. Definitely. I don't know how to focus this bad boy. Please? No? Rats! Rats are frozen camera. I can't get it to focus. Oh, that's because it's not on autofocus. Sweet goodness, of course it's not gonna focus. Let's see if it'll happen now. I got come on, autofocus. Work with me here. Work with me here. If I have maybe like this. No. Just trust me. The lead in this one is thinner than this one. Hi, Ash. Alright. So, let's get out the workout. Just trust me on that one. Oh, that's the scholar one. Wait a second. No, sorry, this is the back. Alright. So let's go back to my swatches and see if we can get, similar colors. So polychromos was what we did first, and we used phthalo blue, light ultramarine, and helio blue reddish. So here's my Prisma Scholar chart, and here's my Faber-Castell. So I just kind of look at it like this. So Copenhagen blue is very close to helio reddish, so we want Copenhagen blue. Copenhagen. There we go. And we use light ultramarine, which looks like none of these. Indigo looks like phthalo pretty much. So I'm going to use indigo and I think sky blue. Indigo and sky blue. Hey, it's going to be close. And the colors aren't going to be the exact same. Sky blue, indigo. Oh, that was loud. Bye, Nita. No, the Scholar versus Premier, the lead is thinner. The Scholar lead is thinner. It looks thinner. Could be an optical illusion. Oh, I need Scholar white and black. So I bought the 60 pack of the Scholars on Amazon, Canadian Amazon. My friends, for 60, it was $25 Canadian. That is like a steal, like beyond steal. The art stores were selling them for 40, 50 bucks. So, steal. Okay, so I'm going to do Prisma Scholar over here. And we're going to use Copenhagen, sky blue, and I said indigo, right? Copenhagen Sky Indigo. All right. We're back to the autofocus. Razor frazzing, sorry. It's gonna just do that the whole time. It's boy, oh boy. I gotta figure out, maybe my lens is dirty. That could be a problem. Yeah, maybe the scholars are just thinner leads, and that's why they don't break as much. Let's take the ruler, and we're gonna go by millimeters, my friends, millimeters, rather than a 32nd of an inch and all that stuff. So I wish I had a proper tape measure. So the lead in this says that it's about 4 millimeters, could be 3, and the premiers, I start at the 1. Anytime you measure something, you should start at the 1. Maybe it's 5. The circumference is 5. Or sorry, 4. 4 to 5. Maybe maybe not. I think it might have been an optical illusion. Or maybe that particular pencil. But if you look at it, see, it's not going to focus for me. It definitely looks smaller. But maybe that's because the wood is thinner, not the core. It could be the wood that's thinner. Again, I apologize for my nails. I couldn't get it off this morning. And I didn't take a shower yet. Okay. Start with the lightest color. Yeah. Oh, it's the white paper. Oh. Yeah, my focus is ridiculous. Didi, do you try to do little circles when you're coloring? I tried to remember to, but again, muscle memory, right? If you're used to doing something a certain way, you gotta retrain your hand, and that's just practice, and then eventually it just comes as second nature, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And like I keep saying, I have to remind myself to turn the pencil, um, to keep the point. That's hard to do. I get so intent on coloring, I'm not even drinking my coffee. That's how much I enjoy it. And I just get so, I get so into it. All right, we have the base color, the lightest color. And I use my hand. But Didi, I'm telling you, I buy everything Didi uses just because she inspires me so much. I bought one. It was only $3. An Alvin dusting brush. An art one. All right. So let's go to the middle color, which is Copenhagen blue. I need some coffee. Oh, you do small strokes with cross hatching. Oh my goodness. That's the first time I've heard you say that you do cross hatching. Were you coloring under the influence, Sarah? Cross hatching. Like this? You're constantly doing this, or you're going one way and then later going the other way? Know what I mean, Vern? So you go in one way and then you go back in and go the other way. That's going to be extra hard to train my hand to do that. Blend, blend. Color under the influence all the time. Later going the other way. That's a good tip. I'm going to practice that. Not in this particular one because I'm trying to do the same, to compare it, I'm trying to use the same strokes. Uh-oh. Look, I got a dark line there. Because when I turn my pencil, I got to be careful. I don't turn it enough, and then that's what happens. You get this extra sharp line. I'm trying to do flicks like I did over here with the polychromos. So does Faber-Castell even have a more artist quality brand than polychromos? Faber-Castell. They might. I did read a lot of, color pencil crayon artists. Maybe not a lot, but some of them use the Prismacolor Scholar brand as a first layer, and then they go over with the Prismacolor Premier. I guess that then you don't use as much. Look, I'm getting that line because I'm not moving. I'm not doing the circle strokes. Practice. So we're gonna go, I was just using Copenhagen. Now we're gonna go to that's black. Where's my indigo? Oh, over here. It's black and white. I'm not sure if this is much darker than the Copenhagen blue, but maybe a little bit. Anybody bored yet? I hope not. Like I keep saying, I could watch Dee Dee and anybody else color for the entire day. And I have. Because it's just blows my mind. I enjoy it so much. Not that I'm not practicing my other stuff, like my Basquiat study, but it's just a perfect thing to do in front of the TV. And I can color. Sometimes, if you go in your art room, then you don't socialize with anybody else, right? Oh, except for maybe people in the box, your friends in the box. But if I'm coloring on the couch, at least I can talk to Simon, you know. Know what I mean, Vern? Let's go back in with the lightest color. I don't know why I'm so self-conscious about that. Worried if everybody's bored. I've suddenly got a Pet Shop Boys song in my head. I love the Pet Shop Boys. Still do. Cross hatching. Go this way. So Dee Dee, one other question. Do you leave your pencil and go back and forth, or are you just going one way? Going one way, lifting up. Going one way, lifting up. I'll do that, Eileen. Try blending the polychromos with the prismas. And I said that yesterday on Dee Dee's stream there, that I've seen, Gary Green, is that his name? Oh, think I can move this without a craft-a-lanch? Um, I have more than one of his books, Gary Green, Creating Textures with Color Pencil. And the other one shows a bunch of swatches. He's showing the different thinners and stuff you can use. The other book has swatches of all the different colors, but depending on what color he needs, right? Depending on what color he needs, he uses a different brand. You know what I mean, Vern? Because some brands, polychromos, sorry, um, what did he just get? Uh, Not polychromos. Luminous. Sometimes they'll use luminous depending on, again, just depending on the color they need. See, he used real green with Spectracolor. I don't know what Spectracolor pencils are, but that's what he used. Um, he layers and burnishes with the dark Verithins. So he tells you which ones he uses. But oh yeah, so sky blue and the Durant watercolor pencil, slate gray and the Spectracolor, and then the cool grays from Prisma. So I think that's interesting. So I think all they care about is what the color it is. All right, let's see. Back in with the light. Is somebody messaging me on Facebook? I think I heard my phone go off. See, Prismacolor Scholars has half the colors I have in the Prismacolor Premiers. So I definitely, if I was doing with this Premiers, I would have a different shade. I would have a mid shade between this light blue, sky blue, and the Copenhagen. But you gotta use what you have. You know what I mean, Vern? All right. See up here? I can't watch the chat. Can't talk coloring. See, right now I'm practicing coloring, and then I'm going to start practicing drawing. Well, I'm still practicing drawing in the background, but I'm going to master coloring, and then I'll start coloring things that I've drawn. Okay, I'm going to start with a little bit of black because that's what I did in both of these. I'm not sure because I'm not on autofocus. I don't think the ink, well, I guess the light does change, right? Makes the light change. Rats. All right, so got a little bit of, oh no, that's indigo. Dee Dee just told us that the other day. Can't mix up your black and indigo. Just a little bit down at the bottom. Again, I learned all this stuff from Dee Dee. Some of the books I have, of course, some YouTube, but most of it by our wonderful friend Dee Dee, who is an amazing artist, not just with colored pencil crayons, but in general. Now see, look, I start talking about Dee Dee, now I'm moving the black too far into my color there. Let's go back with, not Copenhagen, my indigo. Flick that out a little bit. Can you see the difference while I'm coloring it? Geez, this Derwent, I feel like I want to keep adding layers to it because it looks so, I'm just flicking it because I know I did do a lot of flicks on that one. Flicks and kicks. No kicks, just flicks. All right, go back. Copenhagen. and I don't know if it's right. Every time I change colors, I'm pretty much going from uh I'm pretty much going from all the way from the bottom to the top. Well, maybe not. Maybe I do only add certain layers, especially where I'm trying to blend the two together. I guess I would sometimes add more layers. Go with the light. So I'm trying to blend those two together. And that's why I spend so much time, because I'm just going over layers upon layers to make it look seamless, or as seamless as possible. But you don't have to put that much effort. That's just what I'm trying to practice. Perfect's not the right word, but it's what I'm trying to practice. So I'm getting a little build up over here, I can tell, like right there. And if I was doing this in my own coloring book, I would do this. Instead of flicking, I would do small circles. So let's take some white. Hey, Safia. When you go over indigo with white, you get light blue. Yeah, so it's multiple layers. Now, Dee Dee, here's a good question. Because if I'm using white like this, right? I continue to go back over with other colors. Should you only use white at the very end? Or does that make sense? Or you just go back over? But I can't know. So I can ask the questions, but until you actually try it for yourself to see what happens, you may not know, right? You're not going to know. Somebody can tell you, but without practicing yourself, you're just not going to get it. I think that Didi just uses whites for highlights. And I don't know if this is called burnishing. I think so. Yeah, light to dark. Okay, so that's what I've been doing. I do a light hand with everything. I've been really practicing that, especially with the swatches and stuff. Um, I've been really practicing the light touch. And that's why this is taking me so long. You know what I mean, Vern? Okay, I think I gotta stop saying you know what I mean, Vern, for the rest of the time. Think I can do it? Not forever, because I love saying it, but for today. Like, I showed you those leaves when I was practicing in Secret Paris. I probably would have a lighter, a different, a color in between this light blue and the Copenhagen. So that, no, I could even blend it even more seamlessly than that. But we're using, the 60 colors, and that's what. So you know what? These Prismacolors are definitely soft. I think that the Derwent Color Soft are more scratchy than the Prismacolor Scholars. I'm not sure what the price difference is, but let me tell you, if you watch Amazon, uh, sometimes they have these good sales. I'm telling you, you cannot beat Prismacolor Scholars 60 pack for 25 bucks Canadian. So I don't have the exact same colors. So, but I think especially on camera, you can tell the difference. You can tell the strokes, you know, boy, those polychromos, I can really tell the difference. See how much buildup I got with the Derwent? And I'm using the same pressure on all of them. Now that I can tell over here, maybe they're not as creamy. I gotta figure out what's going on with this. What's going on with the Scholars. But once we start using, I'll do the Premier next. But there's nothing wrong with Scholars. They're, they're, I love Derwent as a company. You know, Inktense especially, all that stuff, all those products, Inktense blocks. But these color softs, maybe I need to practice with that. Maybe you need a heavier touch. I don't know. Maybe you need even a lighter touch. I was going too far in there with my indigo. Too far. I mean, sometimes if I want even that deeper of a shadow, I still go, even under much, like after so many layers, I'll go back in with the black to make it pop more. Because it's, you know, some of the, Gary Green probably doesn't use black for this. Go back in with that darker color. It's definitely a little bit more scratchy, and it's going to be interesting to compare them to the Prismacolors. I just love doing this, testing and comparing. I saw that question about Linda about the coloring book. I'm going to show you here in a second. Back with the lightest color. See what I mean, Vern? We could be here all day perfecting this and going over with the layers over and over and over again. It's definitely looking more like that. Oh, I just looked up and I could see that I have a light spot there. What is this? Indigo. I need to put a washi tape on this bad boy. Who said that yesterday? Or the day before? Somebody was talking about it. And like, I think Dee mentioned this before. If you own the Prismacolor Scholars, right, just go to open stock and buy the black and white, right, Dee? Dee suggests that. But this white is not so bad so far. I think that's about all the work I'm going to do on that bad boy. So it's out of this book called Mandalas Coloring for Everyone. This is Eileen refuses to look at Amazon for any more color pencils. Yeah, right. Anyways, I got this at Michael's, and they're one-sided mandalas. They're not as intricate. I mean, some of them are. But, some of the other mandala books, mandala, they're all pretty fancy. They are very, very fancy. So I like how some of these have more open spaces and some are more detailed. So I bought at Michael's. Mandalas Coloring for Everyone. So I think that's about, what do you guys think? It's about it maybe with the Scholars. I can tell that they're not, but I haven't done as much work on this. Do I have even lighter blue? Thanks to Dee for doing this, showing us. There's cloud blue. Let me see something here. For showing us how to store our pencils. A little cloud blue. Try to blend this out instead of white. So it's not as smooth as the Prismacolor, I can tell already, but Prismacolor Premier, that is. These are Prismacolor Scholar. But hey, I've had better luck with these bad boys than I did with the Derwent, and I believe they're cheaper if you get them on sale. So, and maybe I didn't put as much work into this. I thought I did. And there's that one. So I did use 4 colors. So you can see some of the lines, but still not as badly as the Derwent. And maybe I could buff that out with solvent or something. But hey, this isn't too bad. When you look, especially, well, see, now it's not blended up there. I look at the camera and then forget it. I see that there's too much. I want to blend it out more. I want to blend these 2 colors more. Can you see why it takes me so long to color something? Didi says good choice on that light blue. I know, I tried to keep my pencils down to 3, but it needed it. It needed it. Okay, we'll put the scholars back now. That's indigo. But hey, you could do a lot of good, especially, you're going to see these lines because I didn't start with marker first. Know what I mean, Vern? If I started like Didi showed us with the light color, see, look, I said know what I mean, Vern, again. If I started with that light color blue as marker, you may not see as much of these blending lines. And like, I think it was Cindy that suggested, I need to do the same test on painted after I painted it. Can't talk, arting. Indentation. I don't see anything on the back. Alright, shine-wise, it's pretty shiny. So is this bad boy. But see how smooth that is compared? You can see the marks. Look at that. I can see marks. And look at this one. It's just completely a shine. It's probably because it's oil in it. And then the Derwent, well, I need to test poor Derwent. I need to test it more to see if I just made a, you know what I mean, Vern? If I just did something wrong there. Maybe I pressed too hard at the beginning or something. I know, Eileen. I don't know if I'll do that on live. I don't know if somebody wants to see that. Okay, let's do the Prismacolors now. Premieres. I'm going to do it right next to the Scholars. Now, I've been using some. So, again, this is what I use this little box. I should take the ruler out now. I use this little box to keep the colors because I color different coloring book pages depending on, my mood. So I don't want to forget which ones I'm using. But my indigo is definitely in here. Ultramarine. Violet blue. Probably don't. Okay, let's look at our swatches and see what we need. And I'm going to go back to the original Polychromos because I'm trying to get that color. Oh, rats. I didn't swatch. I didn't finish swatching all my... And nor did I write down all the names. That's in my very big sketchbook. That's ultramarine. Rats. Yeah, all right. There goes that. I gotta finish that sometime too. Ultramarine. Let's see if we can just get a lighter blue. True blue. And a lightest blue. That's blue violet. Cloud blue. I'm seeing over here. Don't they have like a sky blue or something? Non-photo blue. I guess that's the second lightest. We'll use a non-photo blue. I gotta sharpen these 2 bad boys. All right. Yikes. So before I color it, I want to say Prisma Premier. We are using non-photo blue. And these ones I'm using are Sanford, my Sanford brand. So some of these colors actually may be discontinued. So just saying. True Blue and Ultramarine. So if Darcy Glam watches this later, it's okay. I had these set, my 120 set for a long time. Since I lived in Burlington, and that's been 2.5 years, and I bought them before that. A tortilla, yeah, these are what they look like. I have lots of blending stumps and tortillas, different sizes, different kinds. So some people use these, but I've been using these to blend faces if I'm using graphite. All right, light blue. This non-photo blue I think is a little green, but we shall go. $12.44. Sweet loving goodness. How long have I been on? 2:18. Wow. If you're just getting here, I showed my entire coloring book collection at the beginning of the recording. The entire collection. So if that interests you, you can go back and watch the recording. Don't judge. Don't judge. I definitely have more coloring books than I can possibly color. Oh, I forgot to show the Harry Potter one. Anyway, but I keep saying, they inspire me in other ways, not just for coloring, but just to, I like to look at sketchbooks and different stuff. It inspires me to draw my own, you know. See how it's a little bit darker there? Oops, sorry. Yeah, no one here judges, only people that comment on YouTube. Oh boy. That's what I said. I'm fully on the coloring book bandwagon. I was saying earlier, I still love art journaling. I still art journal. I'm still doing other things like studying Basquiat and that type of thing. So and maybe this light color is too light at first. What's the word I'm looking for? Not light, actually. Maybe I put too much on the first layer because it's not just one layer. I'm going over it, a couple different times. Boy, these blues are pretty similar, right? Can you see a difference on camera? Welcome, BDO Guard. Judy says her color pencils are old as me. Look, anytime I rotate my pencil, I gotta remember, again, I'm just training myself that it leaves a sharper point. What are you coloring, Dee Dee? Or anybody else? Is anybody coloring along? I know for sure Dee Dee is doing something in her art room. Again, your blending definitely doesn't take so long if you have a coat of something else underneath as a starter. That's for sure. that second color, these two colors are probably too similar. Maybe I needed to use the ultramarine. Or is this indigo? No, that's ultramarine. So sometimes I get those harsh lines. But see, in Prismacolor, if I get that harsh line, it'll come out later. Once I put it with white and I continue to blend, it just blends away, if that makes sense. Not like the Derwent Color Soft didn't seem to blend. Dee Dee finished Martha's skull. Oh, can't wait to see that. Cindy, tomorrow we're celebrating her son's birthday. You're making a cake. Safia's collaging page for NaNoJumo. Her name was Barb. Hey, Galena. Gardy Barb. Nice to meet you. I don't think we've met. I kept, I'm streaming today because, I kept promising to stream during the day because I know there's a lot of girls over the pond that don't get to see me when I stream at night. So I should have gave more notice. I just came on, and some people, may not see it on Twitter or Facebook. If you're new here, don't forget up here to click follow, somewhere up here. And then you should get in, if you have your settings right, you should get emails about when I go live. You can decide, there in the settings, in the following settings, you can choose whether you want to get emails or not for specific streamers. So you got to check that to make sure the streamers you want to get emails for are checked. The box is ticked off. Enable notifications. Back in and blend that. These colors are so similar, I don't even know which one is the lighter one. Boy, it is getting dark right there. I definitely have to work on that. Building up the layers on that. I almost need a different blue. This one looks almost green. These two colors are too similar, even though the color looks different on the pencil. Once I lay it down, they're pretty similar. So on some of the things that I've shown that I've finished, I can't even tell you how many layers I've put on that. A lot. 20? I'm not sure. I haven't counted. But a lot. My arm is starting to cramp. Too much pressure over here. Too much pressure. So I'm trying to blend this in, and I think that I need a different color. I think I'm needing a different color. Oh, I forgot to do some flicking down here. And I'm flicking because, that's what I did on the first one. So I still want to, to have a fair comparison. We want to use the same technique, a little bit of roundy, circle type strokes and a little bit of the flicking type strokes. I think this is the mid color. And go back in with the light. See, turn my pencil, got a harsh line right there. Just, I'm trying to do it like I normally do. I'm trying. But it's a lot of pressure to do this live. I got, you know, when you're, I get pretty self-conscious isn't the right word. Heck, I mean, how many times have I done something online that I've, or live that I've never tried before with varying results? Sometimes I find with Prismas, I get those, pieces coming off, and then, boy, I can really hear the people upstairs today. But see, my colors, I would have chose a different color. That's what's hard because I'm using only 3 colors, but I would normally probably use 4 plus white and black. And especially this particular color. Okay, let's do some black at the bottom and some white, and then blend that in. Well, that's ultramarine again. I have my black and white out. Sweet goodness. And I'll show you what I use Verithin for, Prismacolor Verithins here in a second. Let's just do that right now. I got some washi tape. And depending what I'm coloring, like if you saw that Russian doll in that other book that I'm using as an art journal, I don't know necessarily where the shading goes. So I'm really practicing trying to figure out where that goes. All right, back to indigo, ultramarine. I don't know why I keep calling indigo ultramarine indigo. Probably because I used indigo in the last with the scholars. So I'm trying to flick it out. I'm not sure if I'm putting enough time. I should have timed myself um, to have a good comparison, right? Because the more layers you put on, the better. Well, maybe it depends on how heavy-handed you are, but um, the more smooth it gets. Let's look at the. See, look, I got dark spot here from where I turned my pencil because I'm not turning it enough. Gotta practice that. Alright, I'm gonna have to go around this a little bit. This page has got some fine lines, my friend. Not where to color, well, except maybe in here, but see, I don't like that there. Let's see if I can burnish it out with some white. Look what happened to here. That's bad news. I don't know if you can see that, but a big chunk came out. Tiny. Tiny. Oh, for tiny places, yeah. What I mean by timed is just so that say, okay, I'm gonna blend this for 20 minutes. Like maybe I worked on this longer. That's why it looks better than that one. Does that make sense? Um, you know what I mean? I want to be a fair trial. So maybe I worked on this one less than this one. That's all I mean by timing myself. Not like for pressure, just for the sake of comparison to be all, those particular variables equal. But I do time myself on other things I color just to know how long it took me. I don't like I just say, okay, I started coloring at 6 and then I stopped at 8. So, okay, that was 2 hours. I just am interested in how long it takes me. I know I have this weird mind that collects data, notices patterns. Um, it's just the way it goes. See, this is what I mean about research. I like to be informed. I like to be, especially when I'm streaming and stuff like this. And Dee Dee taught me to scribble off the color on your white. I like to be informed about stuff. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Jelly bean? Let's drink some coffee. Oh boy. No by fives. Well, time, you know, journaling. I never did journaling by fives because it's the exact same layers that I do. I have done for years, just with a time limit, and that sucks. Although I did have a fun time. Remember when Joycey timed me for 30-minute pages? She had her stopwatch out. That was fun. But I didn't do like all one technique for so long. I just did a page from start to finish for 30 minutes. That was actually pretty fun. I should do that again. And we also remember we years ago we did a kaleidoscope from the book Kaleidoscope, Susan Simi something book, and we did something exactly like journaling by fives, um, but just like on postcards. So I'm looking up. I need a mid-tone of blue, but I'm really trying to see this right here. There's too much segregation. That's not the right word. There's too much of a difference. So normally I would go in with a different color of blue and try to blend it more. But for the sake of the test, I can't do that. For the sake of the test. For the sake of the variables, keeping the variables the same. See, look, I had a dark layer. I've got to remember that the first strokes that I put down, I really have to have that extra light touch. I think I'm pretty good at having a light touch, but except for that first initial where the pencil touches the paper, that's where I have the problem. And if you see any of those dark lines in my work, that's what it is. It's what I see. There's one there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. This page anyways, I gotta stop letting it bother me. But definitely more blendy than the scholars. Like I can flick out and I can actually see these like if I go like this, see how it's almost gone? I can go back in with a different color and blend that line right out. See what I mean, Vern? I can't necessarily do that with the other kind of pencils. Go back. Maybe I'm spending more time on this than the others. I'm not sure. Somebody upstairs is really laughing up a storm. Well, I hope it's laughing. All right. Something's going on with my light color up here too, but that's okay. So I'm probably going to call this one done. I've got some non-blendy blue. See, I look up, I call this done, and then I look up and see something that needs to be blended more. I start going back. Oh boy. We're still here. This is a, wait, is this the last kind of pencil that I have? Prismacolor, both. I was going to do some Inktense, but maybe not. I need to do a water-soluble page on a separate one. A separate, I got to do one with Neocolors or something. So these two ones, I think, let's try the Derwent Color Soft after a layer of marker. And, like, I could do this all day. Just go back and forth and back and forth. Definitely creamier. 100% creamy. Way more creamy than Derwent Color Soft. And like I said, if you do get a harsh line, you can blend it out. I can't blend this out. Like I said, I can do this all day. I can't put it down. Back to the indigo. Ultramarine, I mean. Somebody tell me to stop. I can't stop. Well, I got that another bump up here. Because sometimes I notice that little bits come off the pencil. And I should be like using my fancy brush after I bought it for my $3. So that I don't get those kind of wax pieces. This color is definitely more green than these other blues. That's for sure. Again, I'm just flicking down here because that's what I tried to do. Oh my gosh, look, see, it's addictive. You just can't stop. I don't like to stop until it's perfect, but that's part of my practice. That's okay. It's just part of I'm not necessarily a perfectionist in real life. I'm just trying to learn how to do it. You know what I mean, Vern? And I'm trying to learn how to do it well. Practice. So anyways, that's just my goal. You don't have to have that goal. Maybe you're just coloring for fun. Okay. Carolyn Dubie also has some stencils at stencilgirlproducts.com. She is awesome. I love her. Okay, so here's the difference between the Scholar. Can anyone see that? Hold the fort. I'm going to stack some of my books so we can look at this. And then I'll do one with coloring with marker first. Let's try not to tip that over. Let's just get a whole bunch of books. Wait till you watch the recording, Dee Dee. It's all blaming you. And I bought this book because of Dee Dee. And I bought that book because of Dee Dee. And oh look, here's one I bought because of Dee Dee. But I am trying to stack them. But see, I don't buy all the coloring books. I was saying last night, like Game of Thrones, and I love Game of Thrones. I love the books. I love the TV show, same as Outlander. I've read all the books. But, well, maybe I haven't. I think she just came out with recently a new one. Let's see. Clear? Not clear. So I'm going to put on autofocus because my hands are shaky. So forget about it, right? I can't. Tell me how clear that is. Oh, that's about as clear we're going to get. Okay. Prismacolor Premier versus Scholar. And look, I have some darker lines there that I need to blend out. Anyway, I'm not going to do what I could. Dee Dee's trying to buy one a week. I know. What did I buy this week? Harry Potter? Uh, I can't remember. But now she's enabled me with a tattoo one. Sweet goodness. So I can blend this out more. Same as this. Plus, like I was saying earlier, you can use, where's my ultramarine? You can use Prisma uh, premiers on top of the scholars. You know, maybe if you want to blend it a little bit more, right? So that you're not using your extra expensive Prismas um, on the whole thing. Know what I mean, Vern? Ah, said it again. I'm going to continue saying it. I hope it doesn't annoy anybody. I should just go watching the movies. I think they're hilarious. And I can blend this out with the white. So now look, I've tainted this test. I've tainted this test by using some premiers on here. But hey, that's blending pretty nicely. What do you guys think? So this is more, but see the okay, Derwent Color Soft was scratchy, and that's maybe why I got a lot of spots like up here that, you know, I'm not going to use Prisma. I could try to blend it out with the Prisma. Because you can mix them all. I shouldn't. I'm tainting the experiment. The experiment. Um, so okay, Prisma Scholar, Prisma Premier. I see a huge difference in between the two. But these are soft. I mean, they're still nice to color with, where the Derwent was a little scratchy. But look at the polychromos compared to Prisma. Different. I mean, it's definitely a different look. Okay, so if we see this, if we see the sheen on the, look at that. It's just one solid sheen on the Faber-Castell polychromos. And if we go to the Prismas over here, let's see if I can get the sheen. See the same thing. You can see almost pencil marks in there. You see all the, where it's not complete. And maybe that's because, let me see if I can do a whole coat of white. I think it's the wax digging in or something. I hope I'm not keeping Simon up, because bedroom's right next door. So there goes Bella. See, it's hard when I stream during the day. Now, I don't know, it doesn't mean anything. I just mean that maybe it's because these are so oil-based that they just blended. These are a little bit vibrant, but it could be because I used a different slightly different colors. So let's see what our hypothesis. Let's see what our not hypothesis. That's the first thing. Our results. Well, definitely not happy with the Derwent, but I'm going to try the Derwent over paint down here. See if I did something wrong. Definitely more vibrant and easier to blend than the Prismacolor Scholars, but not bad. Not too bad. And I really like the way the polychromos looked. And again, the color soft. I mean, it's not bad, my friends, but when you're used to doing something like this is frustrating. All right, let me move some of my coloring books, because I can't color up like this. Can't color up like that. Oh. Usually they're not in my room. I just keep them in a bag, in a reusable bag, in the living room. But I gotta clean off my, excuse me. I gotta clean off where all my cookbooks are, and then I'm going to put my art books and coloring books that I'm using on that bookshelf in the living room. Certain ones that I'm using right now. Prisma's win. Polychromos is pretty cool. See, but only because I only have. Let me put my focus back on. I only have rats. Now it's not moving at all. Okay. I only have the 24 set, so it's slightly different. I didn't have very many choices of blue. There's only the 3 blues, right? Okay, so if I choose a light marker, let's use old Stampin' Up ones. I'm like excited that I'm happy that I just have a way to use up these Stampin' Up. And I'm telling you, I kid you not, I've had them for over 10 years. Same as the writers. And they still work good. Except some, I've said this before, my Zig writers were stored this way. So they're still juicy, but now the writer tip compared to the bullet tip is a bit darker color. It's like all the pigment went down to one end. So let's see. For our Zig Stampin' Up, I'm gonna do a light color of blue, Stampin' Up. Stampin' Up Tempting Blue. Bliss Blue. I'm gonna do Bliss Blue. Like I said earlier, I want to get another one of those bags to separate my markers from my pencils. Ballet Blue. This has to be Bliss Blue. Did I like the laydown and blending of the polychromos? Well, the blending turned out nice. A little bit different. But definitely they were nice. I'm not sure what the price difference is between polychromos and the Prisma Premiers. They weren't cheap. Like I said, thank you to everybody. I was able to get the 24 set was 30 something dollars, and I used the gift certificate from my A store to purchase them so I could review for you guys. Alright, little bit light blue. I might as well just color both of them. Well, I'm going to go a little bit darker and see if we can make a difference. Zig scrolling brush. Where's the darker blue from Stampin' Up? That's too dark. Oh well. I'll use in the Zig Writer a baby blue. Is that what they call it? Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure if they make these well, scratch that, literally. Too dark. Let's go into the Crayola ones. I'm liking using the brush tip in finer detailed stuff. So that's going to be dark on that edge, but we'll blend it. So like our friend Dee Dee always says, we gotta let this dry. So I'm gonna show you in a different book what I do with my Verathins. So far I've only used the black, and they're not as expensive as the Premiers. Not that they're cheap. I'm just saying they're not as expensive. So let's see. I even bought another one open stock in black. So they look like this. They've got, see how, now that's a tiny, tiny lead in there. It's a tiny tip. Hi, Safia. And so what I do, let's find a spot that I need to do that on. So when I'm coloring some of this, you know, all this is done inside the belly. This side, not so much. But what I do, because, you know, you go outside the lines a little bit, or I do anyways. So when I have the marker may not dry over the pencil. I didn't put marker on the pencil, did I? No, I don't think so. No, I just put the marker. Yeah, because it would beat up, right? It would beat up. So sometimes, especially if I'm using white, then this pencil's so fine. Now I know, like I watched Dee Dee use um like a marker to do this, but I'm telling you, I guess because it's over the wax, I can't get it to work. But because the Verithin Prismacolor Verithins are harder, they really make it pop out. So you see the difference between these two colored ones? Just even the black is darker. So every time that I color something with the pencil crayon, let's look at her cheeks, for example, I go back in with the Verithin because I'm just going over, I sometimes go over the line. And you can really, I'm usually closer to my coloring than this. My eyes are getting terrible. Okay, see the difference? I see the difference. Can you see the difference? So anytime I use the Verithin to darken the black that's in the coloring books. And I mean, I did it for all of them. That's why this one looks, look at, Dee Dee, did you see my eyes? I'm probably proud of my eyes. I know, it's not, but look, I did a little shadow. I did a little highlight over here. I try. But especially with some of these yellows, if you go over and look, I went black. You can tell that over all of these guys, I went darker. Okay, let's look at these feather things. Uh-oh. I gotta stop my recording and go on to part 2.